Time of recession, 30 minutes. We have to be back here in the court for one more session.
No, let me talk, okay? I'll do the talking. You just relax and trust in your God. You say you have a God, right? So you trust Him, and I'll do my job, okay? Let's wait. The judge will come soon.
All rise. Thank you. Today we have the case of Cristiane da Cruz. She's accused of spending money unnecessarily of her husband. She's accused of not giving attention in the house. She's accused of not letting the children to have fun. She is accused of giving money away when she needed, when the house needed. She is also accused of not interacting socially and being very, very separated from a lot of important events of society. All these in question will be solved today. So with a word, the lawyer of defense, Cristiane Couto, please.
Thank you, Honor. Today I'll be presenting some evidences of what kind of woman my client is, and what kind of wife and mother and friend, okay? So I'll bring the evidences, but before I'll read a little bit description of her personality. What is inside of her? Why she acted the way she acted, why she did the way she did. Okay? I'll be reading for you description of my client, if you allow me. We must understand my client. She came to know Jesus Christ when she was 13 years old, and her mind became renewed. So everything in her life started to change from year to year. She says was God's work in her life, and the things that the people say that is a crime, I honestly, it's not because she's my client, but I honestly consider that as something very rare today. Something that is not very easy to find. No? So I'll read her description first. It's found actually in Proverbs 31 of her Bible. An excellent woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Who is he who can find her? Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far above rubies or pearls. The heart of her husband trusts in her with secure confidence, and he will have no lack of gain. She comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. She looks for wool and flax and works with willing hands in the light. She is like a merchant ships abounding with treasure. She brings her household food from far away. She rises also while it's still night, and gives food to her household, and assigns tasks to her maids. She considers a field, she buys or accepts it, expanding her business prudently. With her profits, she plants fruitful vines in her vineyard. She equips herself with strength, spiritual, mental, and physical fitness for her God-given task, and makes her arms strong. She sees that her gain is good. Her lamp does not go out, but it burns continually through the night. She's prepared for whatever lies ahead. She stretches out her hand to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle, and she spins wool into thread for clothing. She opens and extends her hand to the poor, and she reads out her field hands to the needy. Your Honor, my client was misunderstood. I'll tell you in a minute. I want to deal first with the accusation of misusing money. That accusation had roots from her spouse that said it was an event in one of the trips they had, and she saw a needy person. She saw somebody that just didn't have breakfast. So she took €5 and bought her a sandwich and a chocolate drink. Her husband was very furious, and he thought that was an absurd. And he started being very sarcastic and giving more money to other people, saying, oh, give everything we have. It was only €5, actually. The woman was starving, and she was disabled. So she had no conditions really to do anything for herself. So my client did what this verse says here. Reaches out the hand to the poor. Is that a crime? Well, and then people accuse her because she does not make her own money to give to the poor or to give to someone. But she understands also from scriptures, and she believes that, and brought fruit in her life in a way that she continued believing because it happened to her, that God wants her to take concern first what is important for His kingdom. What is His kingdom? It is everything that is related to love, related to goodness, related to compassion, related to forgiveness, all this. So then in Matthew 6, from 28 to 34, it describes this. I want to read that for you too. And why you are worried about clothes? See how the lilies of wild flowers of the field grow. They do not labor, nor do they spin. Yet, I say to you that not even Solomon in all his glory and splendor dressed himself like one of these. But if God so clothed the grass of the field, which is alive and green today and tomorrow, he will not much more clothe you, you little faith. Therefore, do not worry or be anxious perpetually, saying, what are we going to eat? Or what are we going to drink? Or what are you going to wear? For the pagan, the Gentiles, eagerly seek all these things. But do not worry, for your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But first and most importantly, seek his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. She does not overspend, as it was said. Okay? She make a good use. Going back to Proverbs 31, she makes a good use of what she has in her hands. She multiplies that. She makes it something that's so little and something so ordinary to be used in a mighty way. Something to become so good that nobody would say, that was ordinary and that is bad. That was bad. So that's the first accusation of her. Now of her not bringing profit to the society in terms of working outside. In Titus 2, from 3 to 5 says, older women similarly are to be reverent in their behavior, not malicious gossips, not addicted to much wine, teaching what is right and good, and so that they may encourage the young woman to tenderly love their husbands and their children, to be sensible, pure, makers of a home where God is honored, good-natured, being subject to their own husbands, so that the word of God will not be dishonored. Was the crime she committed also? She's a maker of a home. She administrates her home. In our society today, we are taught, woman shall rule like a man in the house. Woman make money sometimes more than the man. And that goes to her head and to her heart, and she cannot submit to him. She doesn't need to. She takes that to her strength, the body she has, and say, I can do all things. Why do I need him for? Why do I need him for? I can buy my own things. I can pay my own bills. But the house is not ready to serve the family. Who is in the house when she's not there? Who is in the house taking care of the clothes and the food? So the family will eat hamburger every day, will eat nuggets every day. They will never have a fresh meal. They will never have something healthy for the children, and the concern that the husband come and he finds everything so prepared and well for him. So for this reason, she's being charged of much of that, because she dedicated her heart to serve. So she has a heart of a servant. And she's confident in what she's doing. And she became good at it. She's not lazy. My client, I have evidences here. My client does not have a nap. If you want to see these pictures, cameras were done in the house, so you can see that she's always working, always acting, very active, very busy. She has a schedule of waking up 6 o'clock and going to bed at 9:30, something like that. And she did what this verse says, makers of her home. Now concerning the kids. These days, we can see that the kids are disrespectful, authoritative. They talk loud enough to their parents, do not respect teachers, and have no discipline. She also take the word of the Bible that says, the rod of reproof giving wisdom, but a child who gets his own way brings shame to his mother. Correct your son, and he will give you comfort. Yes, he will delight your soul. Proverbs 29:15 and 17. Any discipline today is taken like bruises and something like this. But that's not what my client meant. She meant to discipline in a way that the child will not have their way when they're wrong. They will not have their way. Sometimes very complicated for her. But she does not spare discipline to her kids. And I guess that's a good thing also, because if there is no correction at home, they will not fear authority outside, and they'll be destroyed soon, because people does not tolerate that. They do not tolerate their own. They will tolerate other people's kids. I don't think so. So in Proverbs 13:24 it says, he who withholds the rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines and trains him diligently and appropriately with wisdom and love. We are in a society that condemns that the parent shall not shout to the kid, shall not take things from the kid when they want it, but they're not really in conditions of deserving that. So that's what she's being charged also. Next one. Now, what concerns to the interaction of the family. Okay, it's a very sensitive part, because she has a mind and her husband has his mind, and they live in different worlds. Okay, she doesn't want to conform to something that is improper for the family. For example, in Romans 12:2, it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. It's more related to things the family watches on TV, and you know, those movies that comes cursing the name of God and saying bad words every 5 seconds. The kids hearing all that. It's no filter at all. Well, it's not good. She considered it's not good for my kids, but it's not good for me either. What can I get from this? It's an empty thing. Well, when you're in the house and you have a TV and have that routine of coming back from work, I'm talking about the husband, it's quite difficult if you don't enjoy your family, don't enjoy your wife, don't enjoy your children. It is very common that the person be dependent on the TV and be dragged to I just want myself now. I want to relax, not hear anybody. I just want to see something. And but the thing is, these days, it's very difficult to find something good for you to hear, good for you to see. That's why this verse says, do not be conformed to this world. So it's the whole thing. The whole thing. So, and then she prepared some programs or something. She selected, she takes her time as she administrates the house. She selects things for the family and share with her husband. If he's in agreement, then they share with each other, no? And they talk. That's what she wanted. She wanted the talking, she wanted interaction, she wanted the love for each other, talking more. If you don't see your spouse and you love your spouse for a day long, so you'll be home and not missing her or missing him. So you let that go and give yourself to the TV. So actually you're married to TV. That's what happens. And she was also charged with that. Okay, there is another part that talks about of these movies, okay? And she says that most of the time when her husband was watching those dirty movies, it came this verse in her head. Do not let sexual sin, perversion of any kind, or greed even be mentioned among you. This is not appropriate behavior of God's holy people. It's not right that dirty stories, foolish talk, or obscene jokes should be mentioned among you either. Instead, give thanks to God. She just closed the gate for those words to enter. How those words enter. If you're watching a comedy, it's impossible today to watch one without a dirty joke. A dirty joke. You know what I'm talking about. That word that has F and everything else. And they say Jesus in a mockery way. It's not even with respect. They say his name in vain and disrespectfully. So she could not take that. She was accused also because the family says she wants to brainwash us and throw Jesus in our throat. Well, she takes seriously what God says in Deuteronomy 11:18-19. Therefore shall you lay up these my words in your heart and your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as a frontlet between your eyes. And you shall teach them, your children, speaking of them, when thou sittest seated in thy house, and when thou walk by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou rise up. Wow. She does not even do what the verse is saying. Because God, he assigns to us to be very careful, to not let his word go away from our mind, from our heart. It's something that can go quickly out of it. So she says, keep it up the whole time. Rise up, walk, lay down. Today it would be taken as, wow, fanatism, something like this. But it's not a crime to be fanatic for football. It's not fanatic to have all the idols we think is good in our mind the whole time. But to have His word in our mind and heart the whole time, it's bad. Because what is this word that He wants us to have? He's talking here about the 10 Commandments. Shall love your God with all your heart, your mind, and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not steal, do not kill, do not lie, do not covet your neighbor's things. Shall respect, honor your mother and father. Keep His holy day. Things like this. It's a scandal? Is it bad? If we don't keep that in front of our eyes and our mind the whole time, we are very tempted to do all these things. Do not commit adultery? Yes. Imagine you're in your office and the new worker came and she's drop dead gorgeous. It's not skin super treated. It's not like your wife that is getting a little fat at home. Because she's training her cooking more and her food is getting good and she eats. What to do? She eats. Sorry, Your Honor. Sorry. It was just a word. But yes. So if you don't have His commandment right before in your heart, in your mind, you're going to have eyes for that secretary. Oh, I tell you, you will. So she protected the house with God's word. How? The kids are watching something. She goes and see what they are watching. You know, test those things they are watching because they are feeding them. They are feeding them. So those cartoons these days also are full of junk. Full of junk. And if the parent does not do anything about it, who will? The school? No. Actually, they give them. They do give them. Because they start having standards inside of their hearts. And God said in 1 Peter 1:16, be holy because I am holy. So it is possible to be separated, but in a loving way. Yes, separated from what? So from this filth, from paganism, from filthiness, from greed. What does it help when you have something and you don't need more than what you have and you want more and more and more and more? It isn't like an addiction. Isn't like that destroy your purpose and the purpose of your family? So she defends that. And she doesn't want to be a hypocrite. Okay? In 1 John 2:6 says, he that says he remain in him, in Jesus, no? Ought even so to walk as he walked. That's her goal. And today it's very difficult to find a woman or a man that says, my goal of life is to walk like Jesus. Their goal of life is to have a better job, a better career, something that's so temporary and so fragile, because if they lose their life today, all those years of effort is gone. And who are they gonna face it? Jesus. So her concern is that she walk like Jesus walked in this earth. And for this reason we are in this trial now. Jesus just did good, and he had that terrible death. He resurrected, but he had a death that was the worst in that time. So my conclusion, Your Honor, is that she chose to be little in this earth, to serve. She chose that because she had opportunities, she had ways, if she wanted, to get something to be seen good by men, by people. But she does not want to invest in that. She wants to invest in God's kingdom. The promise was done in Matthew 6. It says, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. And all the things that she needs, he provides. And he's been providing to her. It's not many wants that. It's not many. So I would like you, this jury, to think about it, what was being said, and evaluates that if she was different, if she had chose to serve money and to serve her vanities, how would be her family treated today? Who would be, with who would be her kids? With how would be their health? How would be their intellect? How would be that? And how would be the people that she could help in times of their need if she was not there present? Who would have helped them? So at the end, all these things she did contributed for the good of someone else. And she lacked nothing. That's the most important thing too. She lacked absolutely nothing. Okay, Your Honor, we wait for your result. And I'm thankful you can hear us. Thank you. Today, this Cristiane da Cruz is over. I'll show you her real identity, what she's about. Stick to the end, you will see. She will regret the day she was born. All rise. Okay, today we are going to hear prosecutor accusations against Cristiane da Cruz will be done from lawyer Cristiane, also Cristiane. Please, with a word, prosecutor Cristiane. Thank you, Your Honor. Today I would like to present to you this jury and her own lawyer, who is her client. Yesterday it was a bit pathetic to me to hear all that sad story she said and she had, playing the victim and saying to everyone that she had conditions to reach something good for the society, to have some respect in society by having a good job, a good education, but she chose to belittle. I heard when she said that. But that's not the truth. That is not what I found out. Today, Your Honor, I'd like to show you some evidences. Here are they. You can check. It's forms of companies she has made. She filled out for the jobs here. Not humble jobs, but high jobs. So she was thinking high. She wanted something good, but not having the proper education. In 2011, she tried to have a position of photographer. 2010, she was flying for a certain company in Dubai. And she left the company. She just wanted to try something new. And she made this course of photography. But again, it's not university photography. Well, she put on that mask of, oh, I love Jesus and I trust God and everything will happen because I trust God. He had all the gates. Well, you must have the proper education to fit in the market. Your Honor, would I be allowed to be in this court if I had no lawyer university degree? No. Would you be allowed to be a judge if you didn't pass for what I'm going through now? No. So we have a system, we have a discipline, we have a world that works well fitted like this. An opportunity is available for everyone who wants it. But Cristiane da Cruz doesn't want to go through those ways because it takes long time to become a lawyer. It takes long time to become a photographer, a professional photographer. It takes about maybe 4 or 5 years to get your degree in photography. And she just wanted that the same job from a course of 6 months? I don't think so. Well, she went to the market like this. She made business cards, she made a website, but all of these things came to failure. She never got anything. She never got opportunity as a photographer at all. She had some people that requested her job, but didn't pay her any money. Do you know why? There's no respect. She's not professional. Well, then she got married and came to Denmark. And here is a country of very highly educated people. There was a time that Denmark would not accept people to live in that has no education at all. Then she got it here. Luckily, because I don't believe she says God opened the gate. Oh, come on. Our laws change the whole time. Anything can happen. Absolutely anything. And she was just lucky that she got in. And she started knocking at these doors of these companies that I'm showing you the papers. But she was also denied. And why is that? No education. No education enough to get to the level of market in Denmark. Then it comes the false comfort to say, okay, I'm unique because I'm a mom and I'm a wife at home and I clean the house and I make things and blah, blah, blah. Well, we are in a time, not a time of Abraham. We are not in the time of Moses, where there was no washing machine, there was no dishwasher, and there was no kindergarten to take care of the kids. So in those times, I believe the Bible refers to those times. But in her mind, that fits perfectly as a good comfort to her, that her failures can be hidden behind her faith. So with all respect to the other Christians that has education and understands what I'm saying, because they understand what I'm saying. People in the churches where she has been thinks just like me. So am I going against God? They love Jesus. I don't know about me, but they love Jesus. And so she has all these facilities knocking at her door and saying, I can take care of your kids until 5 in the evening. So you can go to work outside. You can go and make money. But she hides because she has no qualification. That's the truth. She cannot be accepted in the market here. Unless if she's a cleaner. Unless if she can do something more humbled to get the money. But she doesn't want to be those humble jobs. She wants to be lifted up. She wants some glory. Well, that's the real Christianity Cruz. I would like to show you, Your Honor, also something very important. Something from her own Bible that unmasks her arguments of work. In Genesis 3:19 says, by the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken, for dust you are to dust. You will return. Obviously, this verse, clear to me, is talking about work. It's talking about struggle. It's talking about coming out of your comfort zone, because that's what work is. Coming out of your comfort zone and getting your survival from there. So it's about survival, this verse. Another verse I want to show you. It is something that is related to her failure also to maintain peace in her own house. Not letting her husband be her husband and her kids be her kids. In Romans 12:18 it says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. With everyone. People that believe God and people that does not believe God. So, based on that, Your Honor, I'd like to think you to think about what she has done to her own faith book. And Your Honor, the lawyer Christiani is using the scriptures. I ask permission to explain those verses and the reasons of it. Please. Johnny Couto, you had 30 minutes yesterday to do all your arguments heard, and today will not be given more time. I'm sorry, but your request is denied. Yes. Your Honor, I want to say that if today she gets free from this trial with a positive result towards her, she'll be infecting more people with her ideas, her personal ideas. And why is that? Because people that got a degree, people that had efforts to do many things will be seen with another eyes when they go knock for the door, especially a woman. They'll go back to their homes and wash clothes because the Lord wants that. That's not fair. That's simply not fair. People invested too much years and years in the university, hours and hours of struggle and studies to do what? To serve other people. Proof of that, she has got a free lawyer. Why? Because her free lawyer is a woman. She is here and she needs a lawyer. She needs a woman lawyer. So, and if this lawyer is a mother and is a wife, she is not blessed by God. She's defending actually the daughter of God. I'd like you to think about these things, Your Honor, because it's dangerous for our society. It's too dangerous. And she's hiding behind her faith. She's using Jesus as the point of departure, an excuse for going back to times of Abraham and live like it. So that's what I wanted to present today. I'd like you to think very deeply about it, because it's a very serious issue. Thank you for your time, Your Honor, and I wait for the right result. I'll see you there. Honor, related to the fun of the kids, I just want to give one example. Birthdays. Children love birthdays. They love the songs and they love the cake. They love people coming for them and giving gifts, all these things. But Cristiane da Cruz wants to refrain their kids from that joy, because that's what birthday is. It's joy. It's fun time for who is coming and for whom is having the birthday. So what that can be so evil about it? It's only in her mind, because actually Christians celebrate birthdays. They do. And Christmas, all these festivals that gathers people. From what I understand, God loves people getting together and being at peace with one another. So nobody really thinks about, oh, I'm doing this to do evil against God. No, they do this for the sake of people, for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the fun. And Cristiane da Cruz is brainwashed herself. Brainwashed herself, I say, because she does not have one friend that does not celebrate with her. Even her friend celebrates birthdays, Christmas, Easter, all these. So I don't see really the evil about it. Not even churches see that evil. Churches that have been seminary, highly educated seminaries, they do not block that joy from their people. But Cristiane da Cruz does it. Isn't that too obscene that she thinks she's right alone, herself? Only her has got the truth? Is it humbled? I don't know. But I would like also the judge think about this, because it's her kids not having fun for the rest of their lives. Isn't that cruel from a parent? All rise. Please be seated. We are here today as a final session about the case Cristiane da Cruz, accused for misusing money, spending overly of not her own money, forbidding her children to be free for fun, not interacting with society, judging everybody, and saying that she's very special from God because she doesn't want to follow the ways of society. This jury has heard both parts, and we discussed for quite a long time because it's a case that requires search, understanding, and much wisdom. It's not easy. So I would like to invite Cristiane da Cruz to stand and hear your verdict. Today, 15th of March of 2019, you are considered from this jury and for myself guilty. Your sentence, we cannot refrain you from being at home. You must get all the consequences from it, the choices you make. So you're gonna have consequences naturally without the actions of this jury or myself. However, Cristiane is condemned not to ever have respect from society, respect from humankind, or recognition of anything. If she changes her mind, if she decides to come out of the cave and be a human as everyone else, then I guess doors will be open for you. Okay, Cristiane? So no respect for you, no recognition, and no friendship. Okay? This case is closed. Good morning. Today I decided to have my breakfast with you. I woke up, there was something in my mind. I didn't plan to make a video anymore concerning the other videos of the trial. But the verses that I used yesterday, like the accuser, came to my mind. And I wanted to show verses that she did not show. Something that, because I used those verses because they are verses used by Christians that agrees with the world. And they use those verses, but they do not show the previous ones. So the first verse that I used in the court to accuse was Genesis 3:19, that talks about in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return to the earth. People use this verse for man and for woman to bring an excuse that it is okay the way the world is,
throwing their wives and their mothers to get the money to supply the house in that way. But they do not show the verse 17, which says, also to Adam he said, because thou hast obeyed the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree, cursed is the earth for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. And then comes the verse, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat the bread. I'm not judging or condemning any woman that got a degree or work outside of the house, okay? In deep, only God knows their story. And some really has a call for those talents, doing things outside. For example, nurse or doctor or I don't know. Whatever the job is, the problem starts to become wrong when, if they are wives, if they are mothers, the priority of the motherhood and spouse becomes secondary. When those things becomes less important than the job they are doing because of the money, then yes, then I have no doubt to say that's wrong. Because the family starts breaking. Because of the money she's making, she starts to take the place of her husband, the lordship he has in the house, the respect. I met some woman here that is pressured to go and do this for the persecute in the house, and they simply cannot be mom. They cannot have the creativity, the mind to be a good spouse, the love, because they are overburdened with things that belongs to Adam, that belongs to the man. So this verse was to the man, also to Adam. He said, he's talking to the man. I know this video will bother many people, and this accusation video, I believe most liked it, because those are the things people accused me all the time, and accused many other women. She was right. I did those applications for jobs, high jobs, and that was because of the salary. That was because I was pressured in the house to be a wife, do the house work, but also to bring the money. Then trying to get the peace, I did that. But thank God I didn't get it. And for me today, I don't need recognition of men, and I don't need the help of a court. I understand that God is the judge of judges, and He is the one who directs me today what to do. For example, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do a video again. I depend on Him to put in my heart something like fire to say, Chris, I want you to do this. Because that's the way I feel in my heart when I do a video. if I don't have that, it's better not to come. Because it will be completely failure. It would not bring any fruit. So today, I can do all things through him. If he wants me to be a painter today, I'm a painter. If he wants me to be only a mom, I am only a mom. If he wants me to be, I don't know, just give you an example, okay? A photographer? Okay, I'm a photographer today. I'm a whatever today. And all the things that the Bible says about the just shall live by faith, it is really true, because if the money and the concerns of money and survival does not rule, the faith rules. You have one thing or the other. Or you live worried and concerned about these things, or you live trusting God. Trusting God in what? Because if he has given you a talent for something, but that talent nobody gonna hire. For example, I do these videos on Facebook. Do you know who? Does not matter how good actress maybe I can be. I would not find one soul willing to pay for me to broadcast about Christ. No. They could maybe offer me to do some other acting, but bringing world stuff. But if I know that nobody would pay for me to broadcast truth, then I rather not to be paid. And I'll do this gratis forever. And I'm not concerned that I will not have the bread of tomorrow, because he promised. Remember those videos about defense? Those verses that the lawyer brought, they are true. So that's what I wanted to say. When it starts compromising the task and the real business God has put in your hands, that is your motherhood, is your fatherhood, is your spouse, being a husband, being a wife, then devil is touching business of God's church, because the church starts in the family. If you don't have a family that works godly, the church will be sick too, because all these world ideas of, she mentioned about Abraham, time of Abraham and the time of Moses. Well, the Bible is not only for the time of Abraham and Moses. It's a book for all times, for all nations. And there is a beauty if you try to do the way he advised everyone to live on. You would experience peace. You would experience the rest in your soul and the love flowing in the house. Less fights, less arguments. The peace, to keep the peace also, that in Romans 12, she mentioned only 18. That says, if it's possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. That's a verse that some Christians use to support the idea of the world. But in the verse 17 says, do not repay anyone evil for evil. So it's talking about the evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far depends on you. Sometimes you're wronged, but you let it go for the sake of peace. That's what the verse means, okay? So, bombing the accusation. Have a good day.